My favorite thing about psychological horror is how weird it can be. And by far one of the weirdest games that I've played is...
This is where it happened. You must know what's inside, and there's no turning back. Abandon hope, ye who enter here. Introducing Ratshaker, the fast, easy, and fun way to keep rats in check. Just hold, shake, and watch that meter roar.
In Ratshaker, your only objective is to shake the rat. You're standing in an empty field, just you and the rodent, shaking away to your heart's content. And as the Ratshaker meter reaches full, things start to appear in the distance. First a barn, then a windmill, and as you stare at the distant structures, you'll notice a voice beginning to whisper at you, ordering you to continue shaking, telling you that the things appearing in the field will become obvious to you once you remember what you've done. And then, the rat also speaks.
It doesn't matter how much you shake me, you can't undo what's been done.
You know why these things are appearing, do you not? Why do you not?
So you continue shaking, filling up the meter until the voice instructs you to stop. Now, needing answers, you're instructed to squeeze. You tighten your grip until the rat turns purple and the screen instructs you to stop. But if you don't stop, the rat's eyes begin to bulge, and after a few seconds, it dies. The screen berates you, asking why you didn't stop, why you didn't listen, and you're sucked into the ground, left with all questions unanswered. So when the screen tells you to stop squeezing, you should stop and listen to what the rat has to say.
I yield. You've broken my will, O great shaker of rats. The answers you seek are over there. Beyond that hill stands a house that was not there before. A house that has no familiar shame. A house built by sin. Go now, Ratshaker. Seek what you yearn for.
Now you can move. You wander through the field, listening to the rat speak as you draw nearer and nearer to the house.
This is where it happened. You must know what's inside, and there's no turning back. You must find it. Abandon hope, ye who enter here.
From now on, shaking and squeezing the rat has more of a purpose. You fill up the Ratshaker meter by shaking, and then use the meter to do tasks like opening doors and turning on faucets in the house by squeezing. But before we go into the house, there's one more building in the field that we'll want to check out. Walking a little further takes you to the barn, and inside you'll find a sign with an arrow that points up. Hey, we got an achievement. Once we enter the house, it seems completely normal, but if you pay attention, you can start to figure out the story that this game's trying to tell. There are two bedrooms, one only used for storing a few boxes, and one with a bed and a closet that's also piled with boxes. The bathroom is bare, the kitchen is cluttered with a few boxes and dishes, and the stove isn't set up yet. By the boxes and the clutter, we can tell that this is a house that's just being moved into. A picture by the bed shows a couple that we can presume are newlyweds that have just bought this house and are eager to begin their lives together. It's the beginning of a story, the beginning of a family. The door to the basement is locked, only opening once you interact with the television and receive a piece of a picture. There are memories that are starting to come together but are still fragmented. You need more, so you go to the now open door and walk down the stairs. Newspapers line the ground. They're blurry, but you can read the headline, "Husband Labeled." And on the picture we see the same man from the newlywed photo, only now his eyes have been covered by a black bar, showing that whatever he's been labeled as is likely shameful. Opening the door brings us back to the main floor. The room layout is the same, but time has clearly advanced, and we're getting another piece of this story. One lamp flickers on and off, and another is laying on the ground. Now, instead of boxes, empty brown bottles litter every surface. The picture of the newlyweds is gone, and in the once empty room is the crib of a crying child swarmed with rats. Whatever's happened, the once happy newlyweds have started a downward spiral. Once again, the door to the basement is locked. We'll need another piece of the story to continue towards the truth. On the couch there's a pillow, and interacting with it plays the sound of an alarm, followed by the rat mocking you.
She never loved you.
Interacting with the TV causes it to also explode, a shard of glass piercing and killing the rat. The voice in your head then mocks you as your dead companion was the only one with answers, so now you're stuck, helpless to act as a swarm of rats devour you.
The rat's dead. Nothing you can do. You can't bring the rat back. You must quit the game now. You must quit and retry, because the rat is dead, and the rat is the only thing that gives you the answers. You killed the rat.
The only other option is to interact with the crib, but when you do, a blurred form falls and is followed by another rat swarm that quickly covers it. Doing this causes another piece of that picture to appear, and opens the path for you to continue to the basement. At this point, it's clear that whoever we're playing is fighting memories that he's been trying to repress. The beer bottles show that he likely lost his job, probably due to whatever the newspaper was hinting at, and this turned him to alcoholism. The pillow and alarm sound on the couch are likely telling us that he's been sleeping outside of his bed for a while, and his marriage has started to fall apart. And the crying child is just that, a newborn that's being neglected. I've seen a few theories that say the child died here, either being shaken to death as the title Ratshaker hints at, or by being eaten by rats while the father ignored its cries. There are clearly rats in the house at this point, and a box of unopened rat poison is by the bedroom, but I don't think that the baby died, at least not yet. Going down to the basement again shows even more bottles, and when you enter the next room, the walls are filled with static and floating objects. Whatever comes next is something that the player's mind does not want to remember, but as we near the door, we're told to find her, and we must continue forward. The house is now in complete disrepair. Infestations of rats swarm around the furniture, and the couch where you once slept is now stained in blood. Outside of the bathroom are opened boxes of rat poison, and a wall made of flesh, and when you turn on the faucets, blood pours into the sink and tub. In the tub, there's another blurred body, bigger than the one that we saw in the crib, clearly not a child. And inside of the child's room is more of the strange fleshy walls, and hovering over the crib is a small, blurred corpse. The door to the basement is hidden, the player's psyche trying to hide the truth from him as long as possible, but by searching the bedroom's closet, you find the stairs, and when you squeeze the rat, this time he glows, providing light and offering a chance to guide you towards the answers that you seek. There's a lot that just happened, and I think that this part of the story was telling us when the child died. When you first enter this area, you can find a small figure standing in the hallway. It's still blurred, but is making sounds, so it's not quite dead. The child is moving around, probably still too young to walk, but just at the right age to crawl and stand. And this brings us to the multiple open boxes of rat poison laying around the house. I think the curious kid got into the poison, and the alcoholic father didn't notice until it was too late. When the wife returned home, she was obviously destroyed and probably furious. She blamed her husband for the death of the child, and as she screamed, his psyche snapped, and he killed her on the couch as it's now covered in blood. For the time being, he placed her body in the bathtub, but needed a more permanent place to hide what he'd done, so he took her down to the basement, and with the rat's glow to guide us, this is where we find ourselves now. The basement is a maze of flesh and bars. On the wall, another blurred corpse holds a piece of the photo, allowing us to go further into the basement, our memories now nearly intact. The truth ahead is dark and disturbing, so don't forget to take a little rat shake break. When you go deeper, the rat taunts you again.
You cannot escape.
The rooms no longer make sense as your journey deeper into your house and mind causes everything to morph together and form strange layouts and traps. A maze of bars forces you to walk past your bed, where the form of a body is hiding just beneath the covers, and just before you enter the final area, you walk through a hallway covered in paintings. The same paintings that your wife loved so much, the art acting as a shrine that leads to her final resting place.
I can smell it. Down there. I wonder if she knows what happened under her own floorboards. Enough. Your iniquities have led you here. There's no going back now. Face the truth.
The final piece of the photo is held in the hand of another corpse, and the image comes together to show a woman with a terrifying smile being held by a large hand, and walking even deeper into your memories unravels the truth of what the player has been trying to forget.
Look at what you've done. What started with vows of love now ends wrapped up in plastic, reduced to rat food. You are the wife shaker.
And then, with the flashing lights of police sirens, credits roll, and the story of Ratshaker is complete. You are the wife shaker, a man who, like many others, had the dream of starting a family, only to have it all destroyed when he couldn't cope with his addictions. What starts out as a game about shaking a rat ends with domestic abuse and murder. The rats that now eat at the corpses of those that you once loved being your only link to reality and your only semblance of sanity. So you shake them, and as you do, you forget about the tragic life that you've created. But when you forget completely, the memories come crawling back. The rats won't let you forget. Like I said, this is a really weird game, and it takes a lot of dark turns, but I love how such a shocking story can be told using a bizarre and silly medium. I feel pretty confident in most of the story, but the biggest mystery and speculation has to do with what really happened to the child. There is also a possibility that's hinted at where you could claim that the player character is a serial killer who's been hiding multiple bodies in his basement. The rat mentions that the wife didn't know what was happening under her floorboards, and the maze of the basement has rooms that look a lot like prison cells, each housing a blurred corpse. But at this point in the game, the madness has fully taken over, so I don't think that we're supposed to take these moments as literal truths, but more as metaphors of his locked away memories and guilt. So let me know your thoughts on Ratshaker. Do you think that using humor and bizarre mechanics adds to a story like this, or do you prefer something less strange and distracting? And as for the story, what do you think happened? Were there clues that I missed, or do you agree with the synopsis that I built using the pieces we were given? As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and a huge thanks to my YouTube members. Even if you were all a bunch of rats, I would simply refuse to shake you, because that's how much I love you. But that's all I've got for now, so until next time, bye-bye.
Ah!